Hi everybody, welcome to Green School's Biodiversity Week. I'm your local Green Schools officer Rob, and this year, with our secondary schools, we've chosen to champion the blue tit. Join us for our draw along sessions and learn to draw a blue tit in flight. So today we are going to attempt to draw a blue tit in flight. So here's one I did earlier to give you an idea of what it's going to look like. And as you can see, we used a good chunk of the page. Now you can put in extra details afterwards. We're just going to focus on the bird, but you might put a branch in there for him to land on or something like that. So our blue tit is what we're going to focus on today. Okay, so I'm going to use a pen to draw along today, just because a pen will come out clearer on the video, but I suggest that you guys use pencils. Reason you use a pencil, if the tip goes, you can sharpen it. If you make a mistake, you can rub it out. And then all else you'll need is your paper and whatever you're going to color it in with afterwards. Now personally, I either use coloring pencils or I use watercoloring pencils. So whatever medium you like, you go along with. So as we've seen with our blue tit, we have the body here and we have two wings coming off its back, its tail coming down, its feet and its head. And we're going to pick a starting point just at the back of the neck to draw up and around the head. Okay, so I'm going to start kind of right center in the page, and I'm just going to do a little line coming up to show the curve of the back of the neck and into the head. It kind of flattens out at the top of the head, and then it comes down into where the beak is going to start, and we'll come out and we'll do the beak while we're here. So the beak, the neck, the head, the beak. Okay, and while we're here, we'll just follow this line down and we'll fill out the fronted body. Now we're going to stop it short. This is where our feet are going to come out, our legs are going to come out, so we want to leave a gap there for that. And I'm going to start by showing the wing coming out this way. We're going to have a wing coming up the top as well. So I'm going to start back at the base of the neck, and I'm just going to come out with a line coming all the way out here, and then I'm going to curve it back a little bit, and that's going to be the start of one of our wings. Okay, so the head has a lot of detail in it, and we're going to add in some of that detail. So as you know from a blue tit, from looking at them, they're called blue tits because they have a cap of blue on their head that kind of fades into a black at the back and kind of a black ring around the bottom of the neck. So we're going to start by kind of marking where that goes. So a little kind of dotted line where the feathers kind of join up so the colors can kind of merge a bit, and that color is black feathers. Now that black feathers comes up a little bit down the wing, and we'll bring it in with a curve so it's joining up, and it comes up the back of the head as well, so another curved line and the kind of a broken line to show where that black merges into the blue. So there's also a kind of a line of black that joins the eye to the beak, so we'll just line off the beak here at the start. It's hiding behind feathers, so just little lines will do enough to show where that beak is. And then this is a black line, so lots of little lines coming out like this to about there, and then a lovely circle for the eye, and then we'll continue out like that for the rest of that line. And there's the blue cap, but then it kind of comes into a white feather, so we're just going to do another broken line like this to show where it goes into the white feathers before it comes into our beak. And that is the most of the detail in the head. So you can see there's quite a lot of detail in the head, but there's a lot there to do. So we're going to focus on this wing before we finish with this one. And so this wing obviously has a kind of a shouldery element to it where it joins to the body. So we're going to join it to the body here with a line like this. Okay, and it's going to continue into the wing. So there are some thick feathers here, and it comes up and kind of joins. It gives an edge to this wing, which comes out into a feather like this. Okay, and so there's a couple of feathers here. We're going to block off another feather like this, and we'll just give the idea that there's a feather there as well. And that joins in here. We're going to just do a kind of a cross section here to show that's shaded. That's where the wing meets the body, so to speak. And then we're going to continue with the back of the body. So we have a nice rounded body. So we're going to come down like this. Not quite into a V. We're going to kind of round off the edge and come back like this, where the tail is going to start out there. And we're going to join in to the rest of the body. Come back up. And as I said, this is where the feet are going to be, and we'll give more detail to that shortly. And in here, then we're going to finish our tail. So our tail is going to come all the way down and then come back up in a curved kind of V again. And then from that, we're going to come down and kind of squared off tail feathers here. Okay, and then nice join it up like this. Okay, so inside of this then we have other feathers, so we're going to show that detail with a line like this, and then maybe just a line here, and that shows tail feathers there. Okay, so where the wing and the back meet, there's kind of a change in color, so we're going to do a little detail for the feathers there as well. So that line there, that line there show they might be darker feathers. And just to add a little bit more detail to the breast of the bird, it breaks up in colors, so it's quite a strong yellow. And actually that yellow, it can change color depending on the diet of the bird, so it's really interesting. It can be much brighter or it can be less bright depending on what's available to the bird in their diet, in their area that they live. But there's kind of a break between a whitey grey feather to a yellow feather. So we're going to kind of show that with these jaggedy lines like this, just coming across the chest, just little squiggles, and they kind of indicate where that kind of change in color is going to be. And then coming down nearly underneath this collar, down the breast of the bird, there's a kind of a broken bit that's black feathers in between. So we're just going to do a little shape to kind of represent that. It doesn't have to be exactly what you see. It can be your own take of that, but it's just a break in the feathers that's going to be a darker black in there amongst the yellow feathers that you'll see when I show you the colored bird. So we're going to start with more detail into our wings. So this wing is kind of side on view. We're not seeing the full length of the extent of the wing. So we're just going to kind of see side of the feathers. So they're going to be much tighter together, and we're going to start up and much sharper kind of in how they come together. And then the same again. And then maybe this one is a little bit wider, and it'll get wider as it comes closer. We'll see more shape to the feathers as it comes closer to the body. And again, maybe the angle of the feather has changed, so it's coming, the shape is changing as it comes along. And then kind of this feather is under a lot of stress, and these feathers then are much more traditional, what we expect to see with feathers. Now, so there's actually a couple of feathers in here that we don't see the fully, so we're just going to kind of add a little bit more detail like that. And that is our wing. So we've got our head, a lot of detail, wing, a lot of detail, tail, a lot of detail. And then this kind of fanned wing that we've seen at the top. So we're going to start about halfway through the head. We're going to come all the way up to about here, and then we're going to come right the way back. And just here, there's kind of a change in the feathers, so we're going to kind of do that as a line to indicate it. And because it's a curve, there's a curve to the wing, we're just going to couple curved lines off here to show that that wing has that wing shape, that bend in it. And this first feather is shorter than the others, so we're going off the back of this, we're going all the way up to about here, and then we're going to come down like kind of like a knife shape with our sharp wing feathers at the edge. So on these ones, we're just seeing the edge of it. We're seeing much more of these feathers because of the angle we're seeing them. And again, we're going to do the same. Bit of a curve, come all the way back down, we'll come all the way back down to this line. And again, we're seeing it at a different angle, so they are different shapes. They're not all uniform, they're different shapes, and it shows the movement in the bird as well. So we're just going to continue to add to that, and while we're in here, we'll just kind of put our little feathery edge another line to give it a bit more detail. And then coming off the bottom, there were wider feathers over here, there are wider feathers again over here, and we're going to see more of them, so they're much more traditional feather shape that we're used to seeing. A little bit more detail in there, and then we're just going to add a little bit more detail because there's more feathers on the top. And maybe one of our little feathers is poking out there. So we've got quite a lot done. Our head, our wings, our body. And what I said here was we're going to have our feet in here. So our legs are going to come out at different angles. This first leg is coming out kind of towards us, so it looks a bit shorter. To start with, we're just going to do 3 little lines like this, and then a line coming out and another line, and that's showing the leg, and then the foot is going to come off the bottom of that. So the foot is shown kind of coming towards us like this, so we're going to come out and out the other side, and then down the other side, and then we're going to join them together, and we have our bird's foot. And I'm sure you can do a better job than what I just did, but we'll leave it at that. And then the same again, kind of a curved edge and a little bit of lines there to show where our feet are coming out from the feathers, are coming out onto the legs. We're going to come right out, we're going to come out again. Now this foot we're kind of seeing from the side, so we're not seeing it full on, and we're just going to curve that line around like this, and then curve it back up, and then the same again, and then we just see one of the other claws on the outside. So that is our blue tit in flight. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned a little bit about the blue tit as well at the same time. Now all you need to do next is to colour in your blue tits and then share your drawings with us on our social media. So, as if by magic, I have mine coloured in.